Hey guys, what's up? So today we are going to be looking at 3 different suppressors, shooting them with the War Poet, and seeing which ones sound the best to y'all. So let's try it, let's do it. Okay, so yes, I am kind of copying this whole thing from the NFA review channel. He did some awesome, cool, just very fun, entertaining videos where he took some different suppressors and he didn't let the audience see which suppressor he was shooting. I mean, he said which suppressors they were up front, but then he didn't let people see what he was shooting while shooting it, and then you kind of guessed it. It's like a game kind of thing. You kind of guess which suppressor you think it is based on the noise that you hear. And the noise coming across on camera is always different than the noise you actually get in person. So we're going to do our own little version of that. I finally got 3 suppressors that work on pistols, so we're going to try it. We're going to see what happens, and hopefully it's just kind of fun. Hopefully it's just entertaining and fun, if nothing else, okay? So what we've got today working with, we are shooting all this stuff with the War Poet. All right, so we got that guy out. We're going to be shooting the Omega 9K. It's a nice little lightweight. This is actually turning into one of my most favorite cans. It just does so many things. But we're going to be shooting this guy. We're going to be shooting the Wolfman. This is actually my first time shooting this. I finally got this guy out of jail. He had some problems. Maybe we'll talk about that in a different video. But I got it sent back. I got it fixed. Now we got it back out, and now is my first time actually getting out shooting this thing. So, and it's in the short configuration, no wipe. I figured that, I don't know, I'm not trying to make them all the same, but we'll just see. I'm sure we'll throw in some video somewhere. We're gonna do a whole video on this guy, but for today, this is what we're using. No wipe, short configuration. And then I've shot this guy before, and this is not really technically a pistol suppressor. This is my first suppressor, my Huntertown Arms Kestrel 7.62 AK. It's an overboard 30 cal suppressor that you can shoot 9mm through, and I have shot pretty much every weapon that I own through this thing, close to it. I'm sure there's some that I haven't, but I mean anything really besides 40, anything 9mm and below. Okay, so you can shoot 9mm through it. I have this external booster. I have a video on this, but it's an external booster that's a half a 28 threaded, right? So I have this thing actually threaded onto a muzzle device. So this is far beyond borderline 9mm suppressor, but it has a booster. You can shoot 9mm through it. We've done it before. We're gonna try it. Who knows? Maybe this is gonna sound as good as everything else. I highly doubt it, but we'll see. For ammunition today, we're gonna be shooting some 124 grain, especially like milsurp kind of stuff. So it's kind of hot, and then some 165s reloads that I have that are pretty quiet. Okay, so hopefully everything cycles. The 165s generally don't like to cycle on the handguns. Those work a lot better on PCCs, but we'll get the sound and hopefully you can kind of see what's going on. So these are the suppressors. Let's load them up. Let's shoot them. You see if you think you know which suppressor it is just by the audible tone or whatever the thing is. All right, let's do this. All right, suppressor number 1. Now with the 165s. $124s. $165s. All right, suppressor number 2, 124 grains. Now with the 165s. 124s. $165s. .124 grain. $165s. .124 grain. $165s. Alright guys, so hopefully that was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty interesting. In a way I'm very excited, and in a way I'm kind of disappointed, but we'll get into that, okay? What am I trying to say? The war poet, it did pretty well, okay? Except for the 165s, and I'm not going to dock that against the firearm itself. Those 165s are made and tuned and like, they're made for PCCs, for like my AR-9, my CZ Scorpion, you know, MP5, that kind of stuff, and they work well on those. Pistols, these kind of pistols, they don't work very well on. So I'm not docking that against this guy for not running. I wish they did run really well. They just don't. So hopefully that wasn't too messy in there, and hopefully it didn't mess things up. So anyway, let's get down to this. The first can that we fired was this guy. The Behemoth Juice Monster, whatever you want to call this guy. The Huntertown Arms Kestrel 7.62 AK. That was this guy. All right, suppressor number 1. All right, and I think he did, for this thing being what it is, I think he did actually pretty good. Honestly, I think he did pretty stinking well. For the fact that this is a suppressor made for AKs. You can get the external booster, and if you noticed, from my recollection, on the 124s, it cycled pretty dang well. It actually cycled. It actually cycled fine. On a lot of them, it would get hung up just a snippet, right? Like back here, so you have to push forward on it. It just wasn't quite going forward all the way, the slide, that's what I'm saying, on a couple of them. So, I don't know. Part of that might be the fact this is a super heavy suppressor because it's not made for pistols. And it might need a heavier, lighter spring, which they do sell heavier, lighter springs for the booster. Springs for the booster. And I might have to play around with that a little bit. Not so much interested too much in that now because I actually have pistol suppressors. But for this guy being what he is, he actually did pretty well. And whenever I fired the 165s, even though it didn't cycle, it was actually quiet. It was actually good. Now, an interesting thing about this guy. Let me angle you down here at the table here a little bit. Listen. You hear that? There are shavings that come off in this. Watch. Whenever I pour this out. Well, now it's not going to want to do it. Maybe go backwards. Oh, yeah, there we go. If you go backwards. There are shavings all in this gun. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this, I don't know at what point it's getting, the bullets are being shaved, but they're coming in contact with something. That could very well be the muzzle device that's in here. It could very well be the booster itself. Like, look at all this. There is so much. There is so much stuff. And I already dumped it out once. So there's about twice that much stuff in there. So I don't know exactly where that stuff is coming off of. I don't know, and so that being said, it's probably not the safest thing to try to shoot this as a pistol suppressor in this configuration. It does work, but do know you are at some point, like, it's either getting baffle strikes, which I don't see baffle strikes, even though this thing does have a strike on the end of the can. That was from a long time ago. But yeah, it's not optimal, is what I'm saying. But did it work? Yes, it worked. You saw the results. All right, get rid of all that junk. All right, pistol suppressor number 2 was actually this guy. Wow, it's a win today. All right, pistol suppressor number 2 was this little feller, not Huntertown Arms, the Omega 9K by Silencer Co. Probably still, until I get more testing and stuff, this is still one of my most favorite pistol suppressors, just because of its compactness, its size. It's just, it just fits so well in so many different things. The fact I can use this on an AK is amazing, but that's a different thing. But the sound that came out of this was actually pretty good. I'm used to that sound because this is the suppressor I've been running on pistols mostly, and it worked well. But that was pistol suppressor number 2. Pistol suppressor number 3, obviously by process of elimination, is the Dead Air Wolfman. All right. Again, this is actually my first time actually shooting this thing, and to be honest, I was pretty impressed. I was actually pretty impressed with the supersonics, with the 124s. I mean, to me, they sound pretty much the same coming out of all these suppressors, because you get that crack, and you can't really dial that down. But with the 165s, even though it didn't cycle, with the 165s, this guy was quiet. I could tell the difference to my ears. I don't know how well it picked up in camera, especially with this wind that's actually moving my microphone. I don't know. But however it picked up in camera, I don't know. But to me, there was an audible, there was a definite notable difference between the Wolfman and the Omega 9K, which only makes sense given the fact that if this guy got bored out, if you bored out the whole internals of the Wolfman, you pretty much, I think you could fit the Omega 9K inside the Wolfman, the whole thing. Okay, not to say one necessarily is better than the other, because better is a relative term depending on what you're trying to do with the can. But today, which one sounded best? To me, I'm gonna have to go with the Wolfman. To you, you let me know. Let me know if you got those right. If you picked them correctly. Maybe in audio, maybe in the video, they all sounded the exact same, so it could be pretty hard to tell. And I did use them all on the same host, right, on the War Poet, to try to make it more about the suppressor, not so much about the gun or anything else, just dialing it down to the suppressors. Anyway, guys, I hope you found that enjoyable. I almost said helpful. I don't know how much helpful that would be, or how much help that would be, but I hope you found it enjoyable. I thought it was fun watching the NFA review channel stuff, and so I was like, man, I got 3 suppressors that I can shoot 9mm through. I'm going to do it. So here we go. That's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what y'all think, and that's pretty much it. I appreciate y'all subscribing. All the different things and stuff, and my Patreon folks, y'all are amazing. Y'all are all amazing. All right, y'all be good to be safe, and hopefully we'll catch y'all in the next video.